Don't snooze, don't snooze. Mornings in the lab is starting now. True motherfucking story.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle improves blood flow.
From squirting to squirreling.
Start small, build up, and expand from there.
To be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? That's
Doesn't come from breaking the rules, you guys. Life, you get a chance to sing an opening hook to a classic. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Rest in peace. On behalf of everybody here at Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, we lost a legend yesterday. Regardless if you are a fan of heavy metal or a fan of Ozzy Osbourne, it's hard to argue the guy had a massive impact on culture and society. And we're going to dig into that conversation today and throughout the week here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. The Prince of Darkness is gone, but the morning has just begun. Right here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, your daily accountability partner, helping you start your day right. Yeah, you're starting it right here, guys. Right off, getting after it here myself. What would you guys think of the opener? Yeah, just changing things up a little bit. We got some exciting energy bringing it up here as we get the show going. Maddie, you guys tuned into Kindness Rising this morning? B-Drive, I saw you there. Lady Drew, I saw you there as well. True story. What a great show on Kindness Rising, 7:30 Eastern time, right here before Mornings in the Lab with Matt Roof, getting up, getting after it every single day, offering you kindness, things to think about on the positive side of things. Today we got an inspiring father-son conversation. My boy's moving. Yeah, we're going to talk about resilience when life throws curveballs. Got some fun things to get into at the morning loop here today, guys. We're going to lean a lot into the death of Ozzy yesterday throughout the show here today and talk about songs or moments in your life, whether it was the Osbournes on television or it was music from Black Sabbath or his solo career. It's hard to get away from the guy. The guy was all over the place in society and culture. And true story, I got to be honest, guys. You know, we just had the big Black Sabbath reunion a couple weeks ago. It was last week, I guess it was. So it's like God's like, okay, Ozzy, you did your thing. That's fascinating to me. It's actually fascinating to me, where you often hear stories where humans. I'll relate a personal story. I was 16. I was the last one my grandmother to see. I was reluctant to see my grandma. She was dying. She had cancer. Was scared. I didn't know how to process it all. My parents were like, you got to go see grandma. So I did. She died the next day. I was the last grandson. Just the things you remember. So it's got to make you wonder. It's got to make you wonder. Gets up on stage and does the reunion nobody ever saw coming. Ever. Frankly. Ever. Gets up there with Geezer and Naomi and the guys. Next thing you know, they're belting it out, having some fun. The guy sits on stage the whole time in his throne. Circa Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses. And he belts it out. Creates incredible memories. And then 2 weeks later, a week and a half later, the guy passes. So you talk about a perfect end. I don't know if it's a perfect end, but what a storied end to an incredible career, where we all wondered if he was going to get that final appearance with the boys of Black Sabbath, and he does. So, Jimmy, let's bring Johnny up here. I want to bring Johnny to the conversation. I see him there ready. Guys, we're going to have a fun show today. We got Gary V's cannabis partner getting laughed off stage. We got a guy named Rama joining the show here today. Coming up on the show here, let me just get a quick check on the notes here. Rama Mayo, Gary V's cannabis partner, getting laughed into rooms and building a $1 billion weed show. Coming up, the co-founder of Hall of Flowers, the president of the Green Street Agency, and a visionary. Rama Mayo coming up on center stage here today. I'm going to get to the comments here in a second. Johnny's joining us on the show here. Johnny, I called a little audible today at the goal line because of the big news yesterday, as you saw. I know you grew up the era that I grew up in. Mr. Osborne, we lost a legend yesterday, brother.
Did fucking Ozzy die yesterday?
Yes, he sure did. And this is what you get, guys. You get news and you get John Anderson, who I get to break the news to. So, yes, my brother, he passed away yesterday afternoon.
How?
I don't know. The family hasn't revealed what or how yet. I know that he had surgery recently, and he was sick and he was battling some things, and he was battling Parkinson's. So How old was he? He was 78.
I'll tell you, brother. Yeah, when he was touring, doing the crazy shit he was doing, he probably said if he lived to be 70, he was winning. So he had 8 bonus years.
Dude, you know what? I knew. So I was actually working on today's show yesterday when the news broke. So I dropped it on LinkedIn yesterday quickly. I said, hey, breaking news. And I've always said, Johnny, that my mission with this show is to create a community, to create a conversation. And with that Coldplay thing happened last week, people wanted to talk about it. I said, hey, Ozzy died. Come talk about it, guys. Let's come talk about it on the show here today. So dropped it on LinkedIn. I know there's a bunch of people in the comments here. We got Holroyd, we got B Drive, we got Lady Drew, we got a bunch talking about it. But I'm telling you, man, and here's what's awesome. And I'm going to say this is awesome. Nobody ever thought that they would ever play together again, they being Black Sabbath. And they get a chance to do a reunion show. I think it was maybe a half a dozen songs. But just to see those guys together. And I know much of the world has absorbed Ozzy through his solo career. But, dude, Ozzy's nothing without Black Sabbath. And I know I grew up with Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, and Kiss. And I know that I can guarantee a Holroyd did as well. And I know you did well as well, Johnny, being in the same age. So you think about the music, his reality show, the stupid things that he would do, you'd hear about every now and then. The guy just weaved himself through culture.
And brother, I think what needs to be pointed out here is like the way that you're speaking with a smile and you're pointing out the good. Yeah. That's what needs to happen, because too many times something like this, and people use this as a reason to have a pity party. Think about celebrating him. Yes. He doesn't want you to he doesn't want you to fuck your day up or get all bent out of shape or go do some dumb shit because he passed away. He wants you to fucking say, you know what? That fucking guy inspired me. And I'm going to be inspired today in his honor.
I would like to think so. I would like to think so. So, guys, if you want to come join our conversation, I invite you to join it live. We got the phones open here, 431-300-3005. You guys see it on the ticker there as well. We are broadcasting a show from early 1993. Ozzy's just starting his career here. So, 431-300-3005. I see Rama Mayo joining us in the green room, hanging out patiently, waiting for us out there. The guy is rocking a beard that I can see that I am admiring from afar. John Anderson, you got to check out the dude's beard, man. It is awesome. How are you today? How was your last 24 hours of the John Anderson loop?
Very good.
Yeah?
It was real good. Yeah, man. Yesterday was fucking busy, boy. Holy shit.
That's good.
Kept coming. Yeah, it was one of those days. It was just, and I mean, I knew it was going to be a busy day, but it was, man, I got a lot done.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I got a lot done too, man. I got a ton done, not only on on the personal world, the professional world, up the level on the opener today. So we got a pre-show opener that gets the show started, and I actually did the cold open, singing the opening lyrics to War Pigs, and that's not.
Dude, I think there's a reason why I'm not here for the first few minutes.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's it. That is exactly. Yeah, you missed it, man. You missed it. I was dropping some bars from the good old classic War Pigs, which is actually fun here. Hey, you guys think you need a drastic change to significantly improve your health? Well, think again. I got a number, 3.5%. I'm going to talk later on in the show what that number is. 3.5% of your body weight could risk your diabetes, could reduce your diabetes risk by nearly 40%. Sorry, I just missed my notes, so we're going to talk about it later on in the show. And of course, we got Rama Mayo coming up here in a few minutes here. What does Jimmy World, Steve Aoki, and Gary Vaynerchuk all have in common? They've all partnered with a high school dropout. The dude's coming up here in a few moments, who wears a tool belt better than a suit. He quotes Japanese philosophy, and he claims his superpower is bringing the weed to the party. I got to meet this dude coming up in a few moments. Rama Mayo. Today's guest built a punk rock empire, and then he burned it all down to become the guardian of cannabis culture. And he's just getting started. I forgot my cannabis shirt today. It was like the cannabis shirt or the Motley Crue shirt. It was the Aussie Day. So Motley won today. I guess Motley won that one here today. So.
You know, brother, you're not tall enough for people to see the shirt.
Yeah, I know, that's the problem. Isn't that true? I got to get a step, Johnny. I got to get a step.
I know. You got to get a step at a sitting desk. This is fucking genius.
You're here with Keith and John here on Mornings Live with Keith, John, and friends, getting after every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Hey, Johnny, I had somebody throw some questions over on X yesterday about the peptides discussion you and I keep having. How's your last 24 hours been on your latest on what you're taking right now?
It's good, brother. I'm telling you, it's I guess what I'm most excited about is that now that I have a solid place to get them myself tell people to get them, that, you know, now it's like I can be really open about it, and I'm actually, it's plus two. It's like some of the newest stuff that's coming out is pretty crazy. You know,
are things constantly evolving in that industry, or?
Oh, massively. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, think like anything else. It's technology, but it's technology about the body.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense. And the coolest thing is it's in a realm of understanding how the body works. And basically the best way to put it is it's like switches in the body. Okay, let's turn this switch off. Let's ask the body to stop doing that. Turn this switch on, ask the body to do more of that. So it's like a control center inside the body.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Well, yeah, let's talk about peptides, right? These little messages. Hey, Lady Drew, I see your comment there, but I do not see your messages on my phone here. So, Lady Drew, I'd encourage you to try that again. I see that I'm having problems with signal. And, B-Drive, my grandma was a huge part of my teen years. A massive. Unfortunately, she passed when I was 16, so it was a long time ago. But she was and Johnny, I related it here earlier. You weren't in the show, but I just find it really quite fascinating that, Ozzy does his last show and then a week or so later he passes. It's almost like he had to get that thing done.
100%. That's when people are living their purpose, there's certain things, it's like, when you see this often, like when my stepfather died.
Yeah.
He was hanging on until everybody got there, and then everybody was there. And then it was crazy. One night, he just it was like he kind of woke up. He was full of energy.
Yeah.
Different, it was like him, just his last big push of life. And then he went to sleep and never woke up.
Well, I was the last grandson for my grandmother to see. And my parents goes, you got to go see grandma. You got to go see grandma. And I did. Johnny, she died the next day. And it was almost like she was waiting for me to show up, right? So
in that moment, they've got something they got to do, and they're hanging on till it happens.
Yeah. I find that quite fascinating. Hey, Johnny, I know I've been telling you privately that my son Carter is heading out here later this fall to a different province to go live and play hockey. And I got a big talk for this. Yeah, it is. It's very, very exciting. So I got, after we're done with Rama here today, I got a topic I want to get into. When life gets tough.
I just got fucking goose pimples because I think of a young man chasing his dream. What fucking better place to be in life than fucking here? God damn it. Makes me cuss, gives me goose pimples. Shit.
You just
God
passed
damn it.
I just got them all over my body here. So I want to share with you an inspiring conversation I had with Carter here, and I've been having with him along the way here. I'm going to share that later on in the show, guys. Because life's going to get tough for him. And actually, it's been a little bit tough for me along the way. But I got to be honest, man, the goosebumps and the excitement are overtaking the nerves and the anxiety of it all. So we're going to get to that coming up here in a few moments. Then, guys, what do you ever caught yourself pulling away from your partner? And Johnny, you kind of were alluding to this. You and Terry were kind of going through your journey in life, and you couldn't quite explain why. Well, today on Mornings Lab, we're going to pull back the curtain on real issue that most men don't talk about. What happens when a man starts to feel unappreciated? And guys, this is not about, I'm not trying to make women or men better. We're just, hey, sometimes we all feel unappreciated. And what happened? This is not about blaming anyone. It's about understanding.
100%. And it can go both ways. We're just talking about what happens if a man.
100 exactly.
Different conversation, people. What happens if a woman?
We
can have a better conversation about a man because we are men.
That's exactly right. So I want to get into that later on in the show as well. And then, of course, we got Rama Mayo coming up here in a second. So, Jimmy, let's keep the show rolling, brother. We put the accountability check in the side, Jimmy. Let's bring in the man. Let's get that hook running. Let's bring in Rama Mayo to get center stage kicked off today on Mornings Live with Keith and John every day, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Jimmy, let's get to it, brother.
What if the most revolutionary breakthroughs come not from boardrooms, but from people who never learned the rules in the first place? Every day, you're told that success requires following conventional paths, climbing corporate ladders, and playing by established rules. But what happens when those very systems start crushing the authenticity that made industries great? Meet Rama Mayo, the guy who got laughed out of business rooms and decided to build $1 billion marijuana show. He understood that protecting what matters most sometimes means refusing to compromise your core values, even when everyone else is selling out. The secret isn't abandoning your roots when you scale up. It's finding ways to honor where you came from while creating spaces where others like you can thrive. Your unconventional path isn't a liability. It's your greatest competitive advantage.
All right. Today we're joined by Rama Mayo, the Wabi-Sabi visionary who went from booking shows at CBGB to building the Disney World of the cannabis experiences, bringing the big beard.
I was gonna say, hold on. You were talking about a beard, brother. This is a fucking beard. There's a difference between a beard and a beard. We got a beard on the show here.
I fucking love it. I think we have a Rick Rubin alter ego on the show here today.
Look at that. I say this with love, but look at that motherfucker. Holy shit.
Come on,
man.
Is there shit living there? I'm wondering if there's stuff living in there. Has Rama discovered something that he ate about 3 years ago
Dude, I would be fucking hiding my fucking snacks in there, you know? I'm sure I could tuck a hard-boiled egg or two in there, you know?
So Johnny, let's set him up, man, before we bring him up. We're just going to talk about Rama in front of his back and not let him speak at all. Where's Keith and John's going to talk about
That's because we're loving all over him, man. He's cool as hell. He hasn't even said a word, and he's cool as hell.
Johnny, he's our new, we want to create the circus. He's our new mascot. We have Rama Mayo on the show. He's just going to sit on the screen. He's never going to talk. He's going to be mute, and he's going to be high the entire time. And all he's going to do is roll blunts. And I'm going to sit here and have and I'm going to have chicken skin wondering why I can't be smoking blunts while Rama is the whole time. But hey, this guy just pulled off an incredible Hall of Flowers event in Ventura. And announced they're taking over New York City in October 25. He's been smoking weed every single day since he was 25, calls it his medicine, and his life mission is making sure the cannabis industry doesn't lose its soul. I can't wait to bring this boy up on stage. Jimmy, let's put him up on the big screen. Rama Mayo, good morning, brother. How are you today, pal?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
We're awesome, man. We're awesome. Where are you joining us from today, brother?
I'm on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. You know, the little barn that comes out, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm there. I come out here every few months, and I'm staying at my business partner's house. He's gone. And he has a beautiful house, and I just invite people down from, I grew up out here, but I live in Los Angeles or, Southern California. So I just invite people out here to hang and stuff.
Nice. Hold on, Johnny. This is awesome. Yeah, so I'm at my friend's house. It's a nice house in Cape Cod, and I just invite people out to come hang out at my friend's house with me. Did I hear that correctly, Rama?
Yeah, exactly. He wants to do that. Yeah. It was literally just sitting empty a lot. He just never really used it that often.
It's the same thing. I tell my buddies and family, listen, you want to go chill at the House of Mexico? Go. It's there to use.
Yeah, exactly. I had one that I had out in Joshua Tree, the desert. So it's kind of the same thing, guest house kind of thing,
So, dude, I'm struck by this quote here I got. Rama's been smoking weed every single day since he was 25. Calls it his medicine. So I'm gonna make some assumptions here. So first of all, I'm going to offer it first. I'm 53 and my boss, Johnny, is 53 as well. No, we're not in a top and bottom relationship. We're pretty even. We just like to call ourselves funny.
That's what he says, but he's the catcher. He's the catcher whether he likes it or not.
Rama, what are you, 30, 35?
I'm level 48.
Level 4. Okay, wonderful. So since 25, you've been crushing the bud since 25. I'm going to probably put something on the table here. You have rarely, if ever, have you been sick since you've been 25 years old, right?
I never get sick, to be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I consume cannabis every single day like you do since I was 25. I never get sick, ever. I'm telling you, it's the magical compound nobody thinks about.
Yeah.
You know, I tried the two of you have this way of life of doing that shit every day. And I tried that. You know what happened to me?
Yeah.
I didn't get sick. I got fucking fat.
Well, that is a problem. Yes.
You know, sometimes a few times I would get injured, you know, it's like I had to fucking lay there for a week and do nothing. I'm like, I can fucking lay here for a week, sedate me. You know what I mean? So Buddy'd bring me some like an edible and just fucking turn me into a jellyfish. And I would just eat until I couldn't breathe. It was like something in my stomach would not turn off.
Okay.
Rama, so I found something quite funny here. You were a 17-year-old messenger boy driving around LA. Then you became an electrician in La Jolla, showing your butt crack while wearing a tool belt.
No, it's not me.
Oh, no, that's not you? No.
It must be someone else.
Oh, okay.
I graduated high school. Actually, I did very well. I did drop out of college. That's the only thing there. And then Hall of Flowers. I wish it was $1 billion business. If it was, I wouldn't be at my friend's house. I'd have my own house here.
Yeah,
but it is going super well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, real quick, that's such a classic example of how information on people gets all fucked up.
Yes.
Right? Because you think you can trust something you read on the internet, and it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I do love building stuff. I do have tons of tools. I love making shit, and I used to make, skateboard ramps or, build stuff as a kid or trade show booths, that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Hey, Rama, before we get into more about you, I'm going to make some assumptions here. You're 48. You grew up the same era Johnny and I did. We lost a legend yesterday.
Oh my God! Could be my favorite band of all time.
Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about it a little bit. What was your experience with Ozzy, Black Sabbath, Rama?
Man, it makes me feel like a pit in my stomach.
Yes.
I mean, Paranoid was a record I listened to every day for decades,
Yes.
Masters of Reality, but Black Sabbath for sure was at one point my favorite band.
You, me both.
And I'm not sure if they are today, but top 3 of all time for sure. I would be here probably if it wasn't for them,
Yeah. And as I was saying to Johnny Rama, it's crazy, right? We never would have thought there'd be a Black Sabbath reunion. They pulled one together in Birmingham last week or 10 days ago, and then it's like I was saying to John, it's like he knew it was time to go. It's like, okay, I've checked off the last box on the list. I've given back the world what I've needed to do. Now I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah, or Sharon booked it.
Or Sharon booked it. Oh, that's pretty good. Hey, Rama, so you protect cannabis from going corporate, but yet there's been, a massive push to becoming corporate, and it's still struggling. In America, it hasn't got there. How do you partner with these massive names while walking the tightrope of bringing it close to culture, yet not enough? Like weed is not Chong what the three of us grew up with today. It's not, but yet still some people think that it is. Rama.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not anti-corporate at all, to be honest. I like the corporates and they're going to come in. I just want to keep the authenticity. I want to keep the art and the craft there. I grew up skateboarding.
Yes.
I grew up, punk rock label and listening to punk rock. And both of those things became gigantic. Skateboarding went from illegal to the Olympics. Punk rock went from basement shows to stadiums, To me, the cannabis that's exactly what's going to happen here. It's going to go mainstream. It's going to be big. And I just want to keep, as much of the authenticity and the stuff that I'm proud about, as part of it as it does expand.
Do you think it's going to, Rama? And I'm asking your personal opinion, because this story has been told to us for many, many years, but yet, and I speak of it because I've lost gazillions of dollars in the U.S. industry trying to play the game of when it was going to go corporate, and it isn't yet, and it hasn't yet, and we're still struggling to get there. What's your opinion on that, Rama?
Yeah, I think it's ultimately gets there for sure. Gary Vaynerchuk, you mentioned Gary earlier, my partner in the weed stuff, he years ago, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, we partnered and he was like, it's a 30-year plan. It's going to be like milk one day. It would just be super mainstream, you know?
Yes.
So my approach has been like 10-year plan the whole time. And he was telling me I'm thinking too small and I got to be thinking bigger, you know? So yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. And then, you know, you see states like New York went online recently and it's doing incredibly well there. And there's not really much difference. You know, I think people think there's going to be like 1 million people smoking weed out on the street when it gets legalized. And then they kind of start driving around their town after it's been legalized and realize nothing much changed really. There's some new,
Rama, one second, Johnny. I'm in Canada, Rama, where it's been federally legal for 8 years now, and nothing is different at all.
That's right. That's exactly right. Like you don't.
But
like,
if anything, it gets
more taxes. There's less properties that are sitting abandoned. You know.
Yeah, Johnny.
I mean, you give people that, you know, maybe this is legalized. Maybe people that are really law-abiding citizens, they start maybe splitting their time or letting go of some booze, right?
Definitely.
People that are smoking weed are not fighting, you know. They're not. I mean, there's a whole list of things that people that are drunk do that people that are on weed do not do. So if anything, it's going to tame a lot of the dumb shit that happens.
Absolutely true. And I can tell you that, the use of cannabis in this country has certainly affected the alcohol sales in this country for sure. And I've even been to social
100%
where you're seeing the difference, right?
Yeah.
So,
and you guys mentioned kids earlier, like the kids, you know, they don't want booze. They think it's bad.
No.
They don't understand it. You know, they definitely don't go to bars. They definitely don't want to go spend $8, $10 on a beer when you can walk into a store next door and buy a 6-pack for about the same amount.
Yes.
You know? So, yeah. So I think, cannabis. That's why I don't know if you're following it much, but beverage, you know, I've always said I'm bullish on beverage because I could see the difference, you know, like they don't understand what a blunt is or a joint is, you know, big alcohol. But if a can, you know, with alcohol is now replaced by a can with cannabis, they really see that.
That makes sense to them.
You know, so I think the beverage thing alone is what's going to push this thing mainstream.
Good morning, Dusty Struggles. I see you there in the comments. I'm equally bullish on the beverage side of things. Again, being here in Canada, watching it come out. You know, and watching Canopy Growth do its thing, watch Bruce Linton do his thing, and you know, Simon Irwin, the entire gang. I know a little bit about the industry, Rama, as you can tell here. So I've been watching the beverage space, and I'm the guy. You come to my house for a party. There's alcohol over there. There's cannabis drinks on my table too. So I'm serving it both because I want folks to have that option.
And one doesn't have a lot of sugar in it.
Yes.
Usually one doesn't have a hangover. Usually, you know.
Yes.
So
I
think when you can be like, oh, I'll take a margarita. Do you want tea, you know, weed or alcohol in it? People are going to be like, oh, well, what's the difference?
You know, that's a really interesting thought because I never really thought it from that perspective.
What's that, John?
You're having your drink a choice.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's the substance in there?
That's it. Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't obviously haven't gone far enough down the thought process of the cannabis drink, but holy shit, I can see where that's going to really take hold.
Yeah. So that's going to shock the big alcohol and the big companies like that, the CPG groups, and they're going to really see the difference now that it impacts, you know, hands in hands.
Well, so you just said something which I think is going to unlock the entire value to the entire industry. The moment it gets federally legalized, the moment the 3 letters step up, CPG.
Yeah.
Because it gets federally legalized, next thing you know, standing at the doors is Unilever and Procter & Gamble and Pepsi.
I've had calls 100%. With some companies that I can't, you know, NDA style, but the biggest ones. And, you know, there's other ones that I haven't worked with that I'm told have like 50-person teams
waiting
cannabis and figuring out what to do. Of course, they're all going to want it, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I got to be honest, Rama, I myself, I'll speak from a personal perspective. I've used cannabis culture as part of my personal brand. Like I've used it kind of like as the Snoop Dogg of business. I'm open about it. I talk about it. Sure. I'm here in Canada. I got to be honest, man. During my career, I've worked really hard to work on changing perceptions that it's not Cheech and Chong that I grew up with. That I'm actually, I've done a few things in my life. I haven't just sat in a fucking corner and smoked myself to death. I've accomplished a few goals in life. I've done a few things, and yes, Johnny, I know. And cannabis is part of my brand, and I'm
Well, you know, and the thing about it is, like, I'll be the first to admit, you know, I enjoy cannabis, right?
Yes.
But you're not going to get me taking a puff and being highly productive. For me personally, that's okay. I'm unplugging. I don't have anything left
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
I'll use it. But the problem then for me is I have a highly addictive personality where I'm not good at doing something once.
Yeah.
But these are my own. This is not this could be any substance we're talking about, not just this one. This is my own shortcoming we're talking about.
Johnny,
not the cannabis, you know.
Yeah. Hey, Rama, what's your preferred way of consuming cannabis? Is it smoking it, drinking it, eating it?
I roll joints. Yeah, I roll
both. Yeah.
The old school, baby.
It's true, isn't there? There's something about it, isn't there? There's something about crushing a bud.
Meditative part of
I
really enjoy it.
Yeah, you and me both. I love yes. So Johnny, I would say the same thing from you. Rolling cannabis is like making a good cup of coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
Check this out. A buddy of mine, he just showed me this thing. He lives in Thailand. We were on a call like this.
Yeah.
And it was just, it almost looked like an old fucking cell phone. It was the size of this thing. And he was smoking weed off it, right?
Yeah.
He opens it up. He pulls out the fucking greenery. It just looked like a fucking wet plant. The plant was still there, but it pulled off all of the stuff that whatever the chemical or whatever it is that there was the THC, correct?
Yeah. Probably the resin.
So he was like, it's a completely different variation of smoking weed because you're not actually smoking the flower itself because it's just the THC. But he pulled that thing out and it was like a little wet piece of it was just a little wet piece of fucking plant. Really weird.
Yeah. You can pull off the technology now on extracting the different molecules from the plant is insane. You know,
so what does that do when the plant's not burning? Because he said it's very different. It's a very different high.
It's not combusting. So you're just heating it up just enough to melt off like basically the potency for the THC and the other, the other crystals and the other cannabinoids in there. And you're leaving the plant behind, so it's just like hitting it at like a perfect temperature where it's kind of, burnt, not really, but burning some of it, but not the rest of it.
Yeah, we're probably talking.
What is it? Is it a more pure high? What is it? What's when he says it's different? What's different about it?
Yeah, I would say it's because if you're rolling a blunt or a paper, in my case, you're still smoking paper.
Yeah.
Right. You're still smoking plant matter. You're smoking stuff that doesn't have the text, the stuff in it. But so it's just I would say the vaporizer is like a cleaner high, and it's maybe more potent, but it almost feels like you don't. Like when you exhale, you're going, oh, I didn't even realize there was something in there, because you're just taking the top of it off. Now, some people take that same approach, but they use water and, to like cold water to shake off the crystals. And then they use that, or they use heat and pressure, which is called a rosin press. They literally put like nugs in a machine and slowly press it with just enough heat and just enough pressure that the oil kind of squirts out, and then they just take the oil and consume that. So it's like kind of taking the oil off at different stages of the process. Where if we're smoking a blunt or a joint, you're consuming the whole plant, basically.
Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, John. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Rama Mayo is joining us here this morning, all the way from Cape Cod, talking cannabis with the boy here this morning. He's the co-founder of Hall of Flowers, the president of the Green Street Agency. Rama, how did you get caught up with Gary Vee?
I first time I met him was maybe 12 or 13 years ago, maybe more, was before he really popped off, and he had some books out.
Yeah, that was at various early stages.
Yeah, very early on. He had the Thank You Economy book out, and I was in San Francisco. I had a little agency there, and we were working for an alcohol company, and the guy that was running day to day, actually, it was a company called with Maurice Canbar, who's a crazy legend inventor, inventor. Maurice Canbar, he has like 50 patents. He invented the LED traffic light. He invented like the defuzz at comb and 60 years ago or whatever that you get your sweater with. But he invented one of his biggest money makers was Sky Vodka. And he did Sky Vodka because he wanted to drink and he kept getting hangovers. So invented a vodka, of course. And then he sold it and he started a new company. And he hired me to help him launch the new one. And they were kind of telling me, hey, there's this guy, Gary, who wears a T-shirt like you. He swears like you. You got this guy. He's like a booze guy. He's like you for booze. So I went to the Culinary Institute of America up in Napa. and the CIA, which is a big food school. And he was doing a lecture there. It was all wine people because it was Napa, and he was the wine guy first, right? So I'm full of suit and tie wine people, 300 suit and tie wine people in there, and then me like this. And I waited till the end. I have some books or whatever if anyone wants them. Maybe 10 people stayed and got a book. I was the last one. When I walked up, he was like, "What are you doing here? Did you sneak into this thing? Like, who are you? Like, what the hell?" And he was so confused. And I told him what was going on, and I told him my partner at the time I started Green Street with didn't like Gary. He didn't think he was like good or whatever. I don't know. He wasn't inspired like I was. So he wrote 2 books for me. One, Rama, I love you. One to my partner at the time, like fuck off, basically. And it was just hilarious. And he was super nice, and he was like, "Oh, hit me up, whatever, blah blah blah." So then years and years and years went by. I was sending him emails, trying to get in touch, doing corporate work. I was doing weed stuff, but I didn't think he'd want to hear about that. So I was really going after like the corporate shit. And I just couldn't get in touch. His brother hit me back. His team members would hit me back, but I couldn't get in touch with Gary. And I saw he was in LA. He was filming a TV show for Apple at the time. It was their first reality show. I think it was called Planet of the Apps. It was like Gwyneth Paltrow and Will.i.am and Gary. And he was in town, and I was representing a few like famous rappers at the time for cannabis stuff. So I messaged him, 2 Chainz, the game. That was the subject.
Yeah.
And I knew that he would check it on his phone. So I just wrote, "I represent 2 Chainz, the game, and a few other famous rappers. Would you want to meet him?" And he just responded, and this is how I do everything now. Now I know everyone looks at their email on their watch, you know what I mean? Or on their phone, They don't read it. So he just respond "why," as in yes, why, copied Tyler on it, his assistant at the time, or his right hand at the time. And I just called the game and was like, "Yo, I know you don't, I need a favor. Can you go to this address right now?" And Game showed up there. I showed up like 20 minutes after him. So I pull up, there's like a red Bentley double parked, next to this big van. Gary's in the van. It's all on Gary's YouTube channel, like from a long time ago. He put all this out. And we're talking about how we knew each other and work and music and video games and blah, 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 like forever. And then he's like, "Well, what are you guys working on?" To me and Game. And Game goes, "Rama's doing all my weed stuff." And I was like, "Oh shit, why'd he say that? Fuck." And it was the complete opposite. It was like record scratch. Everybody in the whole thing changed. The whole mood was like, "Wait, tell us about that." And I was like, "Wait, this whole entire time I could have been hitting you up about cannabis, and I'm hitting you about corporate and sports and whatever, blah, 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 blah. And this whole time, all you want to do is talk about weed, the thing that I actually want to talk about." So the whole thing changed. He was just like, "I'm super interested." Phil Toronto, who was running the day-to-day of the Vayner expansion business, and I still works with Gary, and Tyler does too, the whole crew there. He was just like, "Dude, this is interesting to me. We think the business model is correct, and we'd love to be a part of it." And I had another business partner and an agency I started at Green Street with. And I was like the hunter, if you will. They're the butchers. So I go land the client. They like do the work, keep it going. Right? So Gary was like, "I don't see how I can fit in here. You already have an agency. I don't see what I would do." And then those partners, that agency, we were doing big, huge corporate stuff at the time for insane money, and also cannabis stuff for very, very, very little money. And it was the same teams working on it at the agency back end. So those partners came to me one day and said, "Listen, we just don't want to do it anymore. We don't believe in the vision. We think that you should just go do it yourself. Good luck, kid," kind of. There was no buyout. There was no close. Like they just forfeited their half of the company, walked away, didn't ask for any money or anything. It was kind of shocking to me.
Yeah.
And before they were out the door, quitting, I had Gary on the phone, and I was like, "Yo, those guys you met that do the agency that you don't know how you can fit in? Do you want to buy their half of the company?" And immediately he bought, their half, and gave us a ton of money and allowed us to build IP, which is what makes or breaks any real agency, is intellectual property, building your own products, So he thought that needed to be a huge focus, and that's where he enabled us to really launch Hall of Flowers, and a handful of the other kind of cannabis brands.
Interesting.
Quite a story, brother.
That is quite a story. Yeah. Rama Mayo breaking down his relationship with Gary V. Angela Lee, I see your comments there. Good morning. I'm 53 as well. Last time I used cannabis, I was 16. I'm still traumatized after my dad caught me using and grounded me, period, for life. And Nation, I know Ange. I went to school with Ange and with Shake and Ange. I didn't. So good for you. You're still, Ange, you should come on the show and tell that story. We'll bring Rama back sometime. Hey, Rama, what's the biggest misconception? From your POV, you're clearly an expert. What's the biggest misconception about cannabis?
I'd say people don't realize that everyone smokes weed.
Yeah.
Honestly, so like everybody around, you know what I mean? Like, and if you don't smoke weed, like you're scared of it, basically, you know. But like my mom will have friends over and they'll be like, "What do you got?" You know, and they're like ripping joints outside, you know, just as much as we are.
It's interesting to hear you say, because that's the classic story of the game we used to all play growing up called Messenger, right? Where I said one thing to Rama said something to Johnny said something to Ange, and she said to Lady Drew. By the time it gets back to me, it's a completely different story, because we know the history of cannabis, marijuana, Rama, right? And we know that, it got scheduled in the wrong class. Mm-hmm. And then that just perpetuated itself for years and years and years. Then we have folks like my parents, Angela's parents, going, "Oh, that's the devil's drug there, you guys. It's worse than all this." Yet people are all in the corners fucking smoking and consuming it.
Yeah, and they're holding a glass of wine when they tell you it's bad as well. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Rama Mayo, Keith Phillips, Keith and John, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and John, getting after every single day. And kindness rising. I learned it from watching you. Yes, that certainly is a situation that would happen as well along the way. So Rama, you're still involved with Gary today on a daily basis? Yeah.
Gary's still his partner in all the stuff we're doing.
Yeah.
And he's like the genie in the bottle, right? I don't want to ask too much because it would be like a waste, you know.
Yes.
So I just bring him in when I need to, but he's unbelievable. He's even more interesting, more aggressive, more, like business focused, more inspiring off camera.
Oh, I'm sure he is. Yeah.
Crazy. Like the stories I've been with him have just blown. Like I used to think before we started working together, Gary's like, here and I'm here, like a few levels up and I can get there one day. 0% chance. Like there's no way in the world I will ever get to the Gary level. Even if I worked every day and that's all I did, it just physically would be impossible to be where he's at mentally. I don't know if you're a Kill Bill fan, but I always used to think like he's like Jaime. He's like the guy that jumps on the sword, you know what I mean? And like that, like who has the mustache, like that's Gary. He's so many levels up. It's just like, there's no,
I was growing my previous social media company at the same time Gary was doing his, and then I stepped away from social, but and I was watching Gary from afar here. So next time you have coffee with Vanderchuk, you invite Vanderchuk to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and Rama. We'll have him on the show here.
No, he loves doing stuff like this.
We'd love to have him on the show.
He's not above like little, small. Not that it's a little podcast, but what I'm saying. He's not like he doesn't look at it that way. He looks at 50 people watching is a big fucking deal to him,
So here's something funny, man. So tell me and Johnny and our audience this, man. What has been, in your journey with cannabis, what's been the most embarrassing? Holy shit, man. I actually can't get up and go to that meeting right now because I'm just too fucking blasted. Have you had that moment? Or have you been
that moment? It wasn't a meeting, but it was in New York City a few years ago. And I was, I don't do edibles at all. I never take them because like you were saying, like it makes me like fucking comatose, and
dude, like completely out of like just lay there and drool.
I say I can't commit to them basically, and I had hit up this beautiful girl that I was like interested in, and she lived in New York. I was visiting. She hadn't hit me back, so I was hanging out with a buddy of mine, and we had like a couple drinks, and I took some edibles, and then she texted me, and I was like, oh fuck, like, oh my god, we gotta go to this bar, like this girl's there, oh my god. And I get there and I'm just like so fucking on edibles and boozing up, like crossfaded style. And it was just, I think about it all the time. I'm like, man, I couldn't even, I had to leave. I had to be like, I gotta go. And she was like so confused because I'm like chasing this girl for weeks. And then finally we're hanging out, and like 20 minutes into hanging out, I leave. So,
did you tell her, or did you just did you let her know why?
I was just like, oh, I'm tired. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be like, I can't handle shit. You know what I mean?
I had the opposite. I was early in my corporate career, Johnny and Rama, and I had to create a sales campaign, like a promotional campaign for my stores. So I was struggling to pull it together. I sat back, I smoked a big blunt. True story, guys. I fucking sat down, got into flow state, wrote it out, launched it the next day. Biggest event the whole year. I was like, okay, I guess that's going to work well for Uncle Keith moving forward. So it was one of those things. I was like, okay, that's how it works, right? So
I do that every time I'm going into like a big meeting or something, or I'll be in a car for a few hours and then go to something. I'll smoke weed outside, and people will think that, like, people I'm about to meet with are like, he's smoking cannabis, or this is my business. So but then when I'm like afterwards, they're like, man, I can't believe like you were so locked in, you were so focused, like you were so on it.
Yeah, everybody's so different.
Yeah, I have the same response from him. I have the same people saying, you smoked a blunt? Yeah, fuck, I never know. I know.
Yeah. It's like, we're all very similar, but no one's identical.
Yeah. Oh, well said. Well said.
Yeah. That was from my Uber driver a few weeks ago. Even him, by the end, I was like, oh, what about cannabis? He's like, I love cannabis. And I was like, wait, what? Like this crazy, big, huge buff, like jockey guy.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just like, it brings people together,
It absolutely does bring people together. That's well said, brother. Yes. Even
like you had mentioned before, like no fights, I think, John, and like at our events, Hall of Flowers, there's 4,000 people a day come to this thing, and you've never had, it's been 7 years now, coming on 8 years.
Never had security.
Never had one little weird little thing ever.
Nobody gets fucking high on weed and has a fucking fight.
Never.
You know what I mean? Nobody's throwing hands. Nobody's fucking pulling at knives and guns. Nobody's fucking. There's no violence. That's right. Nobody's going to the fucking hospital for some sort of poisoning.
You know what's funny, John, is I inhibit my local my local stores here in Winnipeg, and dude, guys, it's like the friendliest space ever. People are opening the doors and picking up the garbage and shaking hands and saying please and thank you. It's the Matt Roof. It's the kindest environment ever. You walk into a cannabis shop, everybody's just loving you, man. It's a true story, Rama.
Right. Absolutely.
True story. All right, you're hanging out with Keith and John. Morning to the Lab with Keith and John, 8 o'clock Eastern time with our guest Rama Mayo. Jimmy, let's go to some rapid fire. Let's run the transition, the rapid fire, and then we'll get Rama on his way so we can go crush some blunt for the rest of the day. Jimmy, let's get after it, brother. All right, Rama, rapid fire. You ready to rock and roll?
Sure.
Let's do it. Favorite strain to smoke before a big meeting?
I don't any of the gelato kind of indica flavory strains, I'd say.
I'm a sativa guy. Punk rock or hip hop when you're working?
Early morning hip hop, later day punk rock.
Oh yeah. Best business advice from a stoner.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah. Steve Aoki or Gary Vee to smoke with?
They both don't smoke weed.
Oh, there you go. Hey, speaking of, I read a fascinating piece recently where there was a bunch. So, Eminem Marshall's been on his journey for sobriety ever. And when he went on his journey, and he was in the studio, and who was telling the story? Was it a recent rapper was like, everybody was trying to, I wanted to go smoke blunts. Like, you can't smoke blunts when Marshall's in the lab. You got to go smoke blunts over there because Marshall will not be around and smoke. So I thought that kind of fascinating. Actually,
we did a party for him, and we had to take all the booze out of the event, out of the venue. We had to clear everything out. Yeah, we didn't even have it over there. It was
fit. It was Curtis Jackson. 50 Cent was like, oh yeah. He goes, I've tried to have Marshall, and it just doesn't happen. It just stays away. So, anyways, wildest thing that's happened at Hall of Flowers.
Wildest thing that's happened at Hall of Flowers. Seth Rogen just showing up and watching the show, maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Coffee or wake and bake for morning motivation?
I don't drink coffee anymore, so I'll say.
There you go. Enough said. One word to describe corporate cannabis. Rama Mayo.
Potential.
Great answer. Rama Mayo, morning to the lab with Keith, John, and friends getting after it. Final question for Rama on the rapid fire. You've spent 30 years building communities for outsiders. Now you're the #1 weed guy protecting an entire industry's soul. Here's what I really want to know.
No pressure.
When you're gone, what do you want your obituary to say about the difference that you made, brother?
You know, I've been thinking about this a lot recently, actually, and I'm not sure what it should say, but I've been thinking about it a lot.
Why?
I think, you know, just getting up to be level 50 next year, and you know, I've had friends passing away, my mom's friends are passing away, you know, so just like the reality of having to think about those things, you know, when you're a punk rocker, you know, and skateboarding, last thing you think about is that ever, you know?
Yeah. Johnny, some closing comments for Rama before we say goodbye to Rama. Johnny?
It was a pleasure, brother. You know, it was a lot of fun listening to you talk, and you got a good energy, good vibe, and one of the coolest fucking beards of anybody that's come on the show.
Yeah.
It's very clean, by the way. There would be no food in it. I'm obsessed with cleaning it. So, just a side note.
Rama Mayo, dude, I appreciate you, man. Listen, how can folks connect with you, find you, engage with you, do business with you, get more out of Rama Mayo?
Yeah, I mean, you can email me or go to my website, just ramamayo.com, or hit me up through Hall of Flowers. Anyone on the team there would connect us. And I love working. I love jamming on stuff. I get emails from people all the time that are like, I know you say to email you, but I don't know about it. And I have this idea for like Dungeons and Dragons and cannabis. And I love it. Like all I want to do is help people, you know? So
love it. Rama Mayo, I got to tell you, man, I'm a huge fan. I find myself wanting to walk towards the camera. Johnny hears me say this. And it's not with every guest, because some guests, so I'm walking away from the camera. This one, I'm finding myself, I know Johnny is as well, wanting to walk towards it. I'm curious. I want to know more about you. I feel like I got a vibe with you, because when I meet people in the cannabis culture, there's like a mutual love and respect. And
100%.
Because those that are in it know about it, and those that are kind of outside maybe don't fully understand it. So I just want to say I appreciate the work you're doing. I have lots of love coming towards you. We're not afraid to use that word on this show, man. So
thank you.
You get after it. Have a great day. And I want you to be invited back here anytime. Okay.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Super fun.
Awesome. All right.
Have a great day, brother.
Let's walk Rama out of here. Let's get over to the deep dive. No, Jimmy, we're going to do the, Johnny, do you need to go for a quick break, or can we do a lifestyle tip with you, brother?
Yeah, I'm wiggling. I'll get a quick one, then I'm going to head. So Jimmy, once I'm done, I'm going straight to the can.
That's how it works, Jimmy. Get me off. Get him up there. Let's do it, pal. Let's do it. I'm going to, lifestyle tip. There we go.
Let's talk progress. Progress hack. Doesn't make a difference what venue in your life we're talking about. Maybe it's your diet. Maybe it's your relationships. Maybe it's business. Here's the tip. Most people want to make progress and they think, oh, I'm going to do XYZ more. Sometimes doing more is not the answer. Think about doing less to make more progress. Now, what's the exact tip? One bad habit. Remove one bad habit from your daily rhythm, your loop. Maybe it's your diet and you find yourself overeating at night. Remove that bad habit and you will make a ton of progress. Maybe it's relationships and you find yourself reacting rather than responding. Remove that one bad habit. So don't think about doing more. Think about actually doing one thing less to make a ton more progress. Rock and roll.
What if the silence between fathers and sons isn't strength, but the very thing breaking both of them? Either with the data. For generations, men have been taught that emotional distance equals masculinity, that vulnerability is weakness, that real conversations about feelings, fears, and growth are somehow less than manly. The science is clear. Connection creates resilience. The breakthrough isn't in grand gestures. It's in small, consistent moments of authentic conversation. Real talk about real struggles. Shared vulnerability that builds unshakable strength. It's time to break the silence. Start the conversation. Transform both your lives.
All right, we're back here, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and John, getting an inspiring father-son conversation coming up. Guys, to my Mornings in the Lab community, to all of you guys that hang out with us every single day, B Drive, Bernard, Dusty, Lady Drew, Adam, Dyer, all you guys. You guys know I've been sharing my personal story here the last little while here. My son Carter is on his way out to a different province here next month. My friends in the States, let's go to a different state. Province, state. Geography lesson this morning for my friends. Because I know all you American friends just study next month, and it's been an interesting time in my life recently as I've been recognizing that life is growing up and getting on, and the young man is graduating from high school and he's making his way from home. And I thought I would put some thoughts together for a conversation that I've had with Carter and I'm ongoing with Carter that goes something like this. It's this idea that he's about to embark on this incredible journey, moving to a new province to chase his hockey dreams. And BZ, I want you to know that. I'm telling you, man, life is going to get tough many days. The drive out, those moments behind the moments you're not with your team, the moment you're not with your brothers, those quiet moments you're wondering what's happening back here. And I'm telling you, man, you're going to be away from everything familiar, family, friends, and the comforts of home. But as I reminded Carts and reminding all of you guys, there's so much growth and opportunity in being present in the moment. And as I've been sitting down and talking with Carter, I've been inviting him to embrace the brotherhood that will happen as he embarks on his new journey and keep pushing himself to become that better human every single day. And yes, moving away is probably easier than it ever has been because we have technology to bring us back to where we are. But the reality is that as I've encouraged Carter, and I would encourage many of you to try to live in the moment, try to live in the now, and not let the technology bring you back to where you were. And as I reminded Carter that there's going to be many, many tough days that are going to make him question his decisions and make him question what he's doing. I know he's got a wonderful girlfriend here back in Winnipeg, and I know there's going to be some struggles with all of that, learning these new things. But as I said to Carts, and I'm saying it here publicly, BZ, you can always come home. Always. You can always reach out to anybody, including Johnny, anytime. But I wanted to share this with you guys because life has been tough for me the last few weeks as I've been going through my personal change in life where my kids are growing up. My 3 kids are getting to the next stage, and we have these tough conversations with our family members. And this one is I wanted to share with you guys that as I embark on the next chapter and my son goes on to the next chapter, it's about inspiring and encouraging them to move forward and invite them to walk and run towards that failure, knowing that they're more than likely going to fail many times along the way, and that me, his family, is here to pick him up when he falls. So BZ, get after it, brother. When life gets tough, there's that inspiring father-son conversation this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Jimmy, let's bring Johnny up here. I want to have a conversation about being a dad.
That was good, brother. That was really good.
Appreciate that, man. I know that you've spoken very proudly. You've shared with me personally about the relationships you had with your stepdad and what he meant to you and how he spoke with you. You know, as you hear me reflecting upon my stage in life and talking about Carts, Johnny, what do you reflect on? And your girls are getting older, man. Your girls are the next stage. Like you're a grandpa. Like there's guys listening right now, pal, that are in our stages right now, and having these inspiring conversations sometimes are tough. Johnny.
Yeah, goodness gracious, you have so much influence in your life.
Yeah.
And you have to decide what influence you're going to listen to. And a lot of times the influence that we listen to is the one we hear the most.
Yes.
And we don't even realize it.
Yes.
And when I became a father, I was scared to death. There's no handbook, I mean, I know that if I have an idea of what to do, I can execute. But so I remember kind of just having a real heart-to-heart with myself. I think, when it's all over, my kids are going to look at me and they're going to say, you did everything you could. I see that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Or they're going to go, why didn't you help me do this? Why didn't you teach me that? Why? And I thought to myself, I can live with one. I can't live with the other one. So I just went all in to the point where I realized that I was so deep on the side of the fence of talking to them too much, of, even when it came to discipline, I was like, I'm not going to fall short on the stuff that's important. And, so I had this saying to them. I said, look, I have to be your dad first. I'm your friend second.
Yeah.
There's going to be a time where I can be your friend first, where I'm not going to intervene unless you ask. But right now is not that time. And they didn't like it, of course, but now they're really, really happy that I did that. And more importantly, they're attracting really, really good males into their lives because of how they are. Like, I had a really good conversation with the middle daughters. They're just moving in together.
Yeah.
And he was like, she makes me better. The way that she goes about things, she's, because she's an executor, and they're all different.
That would have made you feel really so this young man pulls you aside and says to you that your daughter, right? Yeah. That's what you're talking about. That had to make you feel very proud.
Well, and it 100%. And funny enough, I've actually been an advocate for him because she sometimes, like, she'll come to me and she'll have a conversation. Hey, you know what? I'm a little worried about this. And I'm like, look, kiddo, you got to understand we're all different. You can't expect him to be just like you, And so it's been a pretty interesting thing because, we all are trying to find that, that mate or that relationship.
Yeah.
Clicks. And when you're young, you really don't, you're doing the best you can to figure it out. But I remember I just had this conversation. I said, look, he has these amazing qualities that you really value, but what you're kind of bitching about is the stuff that, this is the stuff, these are your amazing qualities. Just because he doesn't have your amazing qualities, that's not a problem. You got to look at his amazing qualities and focus on that. I said, you can't use and this is another one too. It's kind of interesting. Even for like our relationship, you can't use me outside of my design and expect you're going to be happy. And I can't use you outside your design and expect I'm going to be happy. You have to understand someone's design. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because you're asking, it's you can't take you out of your environment. It doesn't work for you. Like you just yes.
Yeah. And I was like, look, you're expecting him to be this boom, boom, boom executor. Yeah. He's not that way. He'll get the job done, but just his nature to not do it at the moment it pops up. Something pops up, boom, you get it done. But just because he doesn't mean it's wrong.
It's recognizing the difference.
Yeah. I said, you're asking him his design. He wasn't raised like you, he was raised differently, and there's nothing wrong. He was raised wonderfully also, just differently. So his design is a little different.
It's interesting because, AJ said something a few weeks back, Johnny, where he's like, I know Melissa is not perfect for me. Remember? And he's like, but I wouldn't want her to be perfect for me because I enjoy all of the differences between us that make us. And you know how well I am at butchering people's sayings, Johnny, but he's like, I know that I'm not perfect for her, but it's the difference between that makes us stronger as a unit. And I think you're saying the same thing, right? Which is saying to your daughter, he's not exactly like you guys are the same, but as a compliment, you're stronger together.
And that's exactly what I said. I said that the real strong parts of his design are the things that you value the most.
Yes.
I said, so why the hell are you looking at the shit over here that almost doesn't matter? As you guys join forces, you're going to be handling that stuff, and he's going to be handling the other stuff. It's like
pretty cool.
You guys fit together like this.
Yes.
It's if you had the exact same designs, you're doing this.
Well, then one of you's not needed, right? If you're both the exact same, it's identifying and understanding roles, isn't it? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's but when it comes down to it, you're very correct. When he came to me and he said that, and for the most part, all of our girls in their own way are, I guess you'd say advanced. And I don't mean like advanced. It's like we really, really push them as individuals, but not in what we thought we just wanted them to be the best them. You know, like the young one, she's just like crazy creative, right? And very different than the other two, right?
Well, I'm suspecting because, and Adam, I see your comments there. My son is the same age. He just graduated high school. He took a trip from Ontario to go back a couple weeks ago. He didn't move, so it's not the same thing, but it's actually exciting to watch them grow up. I'm with you, Holroyd. And Johnny, it's interesting because, and Bernard's building generational wealth in bees and supporting industries. I appreciate that as well, Bernard. Johnny, I think what you said that, which was, because you and I grew up with the era where our moms and our dads, and I know Holroyd and Bernard, everybody the same way, and Rufy, which was, my mom was convinced I was going to be a doctor or a lawyer, right? It's just, you know, it was like, I want you to be a doctor or a lawyer, where you were saying to your girls, be the best you can be as a human.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to decide what you want to do. And I told them this, I said this from the jump. I said, look, I don't think this is going to happen. But if you want to bag groceries at Safeway, at the grocery store, and that makes you happy, then just be the best bagger in the damn world and enjoy that, you know.
Yes.
Be that person that's doing the flips with the cans and blah blah blah. I said, but you know, your destination is your choice. But just A, make sure that that's the destination you want to be, and B, make sure that you're the best you can be when you're fulfilling that role at the destination.
Yeah, absolutely. Matty Roof coming in. You and me go hand in hand like a bow-legged woman and knock-kneed man. Very well said, Matt Roof coming in. Matty's got a show, 7:30. I'm right here on the network. Kindness Rising gets up every single day with some positive conversation. Johnny, I teased the conversation earlier on about what men do when they feel unappreciated and why it matters. So we're going to wrap up our conversation around when life gets tough, inspiring father-son conversations. I share my experience with my son growing up and moving on, and Johnny was sharing some of this conversation. And Johnny, I tell you, man, we'll be having this in the next few years because Piper's going to be on her way in a couple of years, and then Brookie in a few more years, and then you got your daughter. So get used to this, guys. We got these stories coming up over the next few years. But let's talk about this idea of feeling unappreciated and why it matters and maybe things we can do about it. Jimmy, let's run the opener.
Ever notice how some relationships just fade? Not with explosive fights or dramatic exits, but with a quiet shift that nobody talks about. When men feel unseen in their relationships, they don't usually say anything. Instead, they start changing their behavior in ways that seem confusing, even to themselves. Relationship researchers have identified specific patterns that show up long before any conversation about problems ever happens. These aren't random reactions. They're predictable responses that follow a clear psychological blueprint. Understanding these patterns gives you the power to recognize what's really happening and address it before it becomes permanent damage. Today, we're decoding the signals.
The signals about why some men feel unappreciated. Because as we know, most men, I know I don't, Johnny doesn't, I don't think many men will say, I feel unappreciated. Instead, what we typically do is we change our behavior. So I thought maybe we can talk about it, create some awareness about it. That's my goal here on the show, is to create awareness. Because if we create awareness, Johnny, perhaps we can change actions, right?
100%.
That's what
100%, brother. That's exactly it.
Right. So
awareness is the first step.
Yeah, and it's as simple as that. So here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this on the table, and I'm going to share my personal experiences and maybe see if you go about the same way. So I found some common behaviors that men exhibit that when we feel underappreciated at home. Number one is men will stop showing affection. We stop the I love yous, the flirtatious texts, and so forth. I will say that sometimes when I'm maybe going through that, I might stop that. Because I am very touchy. My love language is touching and feeling, and I'm so attracted to my wife. I like touching her. But yeah, there's probably some times that I'm maybe feeling a little bit off where I would say I stopped showing affection. Johnny, what about you?
Yeah, I would say that's about right. A little, you kind of withdraw.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly right.
You know?
Exactly right.
And the withdraw I'm thinking back to different ways where, you know, the withdraw can come from a multitude of different directions, you know. Yes. But I think when it comes down to it is, I mean, especially with because I've always been in a house of ladies, and my role is my number one role is to protect. That's the first thing.
Yes.
You know, and so I think it was one of those, it was hard to withdraw too far, because you can't withdraw to the point where you let your guard down. You know, so we had a lot of weirdo shit that happened, you know, like where in terms of Terry had, you know, many stalkers. We had, you know, people that would find out where I would live, and, you know, just fucking people coming to the door like, Jesus Christ. You know, there was a couple nights where, you know, there was enough threat that I had to call a buddy, and the two of us had to stay up all fucking night with baseball bats, you know.
Murphy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know, like, because you never really know what people are going to do. And especially if you don't even know why they're there. That's the worst part about it. You know, like when Terry would have, like, she would become, it would happen, you know, Jesus Christ, I don't know, easily a few times a year. She would call me, right? Of course, it was always, thank goodness I was home, not traveling. She'd call me and say, fuck, honey, there's another one. She could kind of spot them. You know, she'd be like shopping, and this person would always be kind of like lurking around a corner. Then she would get in her car. She'd watch this fucker walk out of the store. She'd start to drive. She'd all the way back into our neighborhood. Right. And so what I would do is our plan was I would basically go to a different street, right? Just walk 5 minutes. And then I would stand there as if that was our house.
Oh.
And then she would pull in the driveway, and I would stand there because this fucker would be coming along and he couldn't stop. You know, it was very, very fucking clear that I knew who he was.
Yes.
But I'm scaring him away, not revealing which house we are in the neighborhood.
Dude.
Yeah. Fucking goofy shit. So on that level, there was only so much withdrawing I could do, and I had to keep my fucking guard up all the time.
Yeah. We're talking when men feel unappreciated at home. What are some of the things that we do? Johnny, I get irritable. I will say that little things will trigger big reactions for me. Where I will, so I will, and that's what I have been working at: the responding instead of reacting.
Dude,
right?
I got a good one for you on that level.
Right. So I have been working real hard at when something's bugging me, I bring it up instead of letting it percolate. And I've had to learn. That skill about of bringing it up instead of bearing it down. Johnny.
So basically what I reckon, because I'm with you, I'm totally in, and that was something I had to stop in myself too.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Because sometimes I would feel outnumbered, right? It's like, fuck.
Of course.
You got, you know, 3 ladies, you know, and at that time I had an English bulldog who was a male who was supposed to be my fucking guy, and he turned out to be a homo, you know. I swear to God, he'd hump every male dog on the planet. Little French bulldog next door, and he won't even look at her. Like, you son of a bitch, you're supposed to be my backup, you know. Anyway,
that's true.
little side note. But what I would do is when I would feel that what you're talking about, that energy bubbling up, right?
Yeah.
I knew that it was not good. It was basically, number one, it wasn't healthy to let out on them. And number two, it was energy that I could harness and use. So I would always have a place that I would dive on, like, just insert here. And I would have a few different places. Like, I could work on one of my businesses, because I've always had multiple businesses. And especially if I got a project, boom, I'm going to invest that energy there, settles me the fuck down. And a lot of times once I'm settled down and I look at it, it wasn't as bad as I thought anyway.
Never is. No.
And then, so it's like, it was me kind of learning to channel that thing that could have turned into, you know, a bad energy in the home.
Well, it's interesting to hear you say that. I see your comment, Bernard. I do concur. I can get irritated easily once I've had my share of BS. Well, it's interesting, Johnny, because that what you said will happen to me along the way, right? And you're like, oh, what's going on right now? You're in the moment, right? So trying to get out and try to get out of that. We're talking feeling underappreciated at home. Johnny, how about pulling away emotionally? Do you find yourself pulling away, emotionally from time to time?
Well, and that's I was going to say the extension of what I just talked about. That's the problem, is that, like, now with the kids gone, it's just Terry and myself, right?
Yes.
And so if I feel, you know, I don't know, if I feel emotionally damaged or bruised or frustrated, I'm really good at investing that energy But then, as she says, I go underwater, meaning I just fucking
said that before.
Yeah. And she's like, you can go under you're under there so long without coming up for air. She's like, I lose you. And so that's something I have to be careful is I have to just, dive in and get the rough edges gone and then come up to breathe, so to speak, so the flip side is that is I turned that methodology into something that was really helpful, but at the same time, if I don't manage it properly, it can actually be more hurtful.
Yeah. Some of this article talks about men that fantasize about starting over. And so I can tell you this truthfully, I never have. I don't. Whenever I'm having a disagreement or a discussion with Lauren or having some challenges, I don't sit and wallow and wondering, I gotta start over again. I don't have that. I don't go through that. Do you, Johnny?
Well, no, but I think that I think that there's actually a really helpful element there, but you have to have it from the right side. Imagine, okay, fuck. What if I had to start over? Look at all I'm going to lose. Look at these relationships. It's a stoic thing. It's a stoic thought process. It's like if you're frustrated with your kids when you put them to bed, imagine what it would be like if they didn't wake up. Fuck me. Pretty easy to fucking get yourself back in check. So when you're thinking about starting over, don't think of it like a way to like feel better. Think of it like, God damn it. What? And am I really that upset that somebody didn't fucking take out the trash or whatever the goofy shit that set off the deal was? And so from the right side of the perspective, that is powerful shit.
You just gave me goosebumps. Every now and then through our relationship, I'm having this conversation in front of our community. Every now and then in our relationship, you say things that give me goosebumps. And you just did right here. Because that was a philosophical drop right there. Like, I'm frustrated. My kids aren't listening to me. Yeah, what if they're dead right now? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, when you put them to bed and think, what if they don't wake up? Fuck me, I'm going to wake them up right now and I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. It's because we get so fucking distracted from all the shit that's truly not important. And when funny, going to zero, so to speak, gives you a really fucking clear picture of what's important.
Well, and this is where I see two roles, like myself and Lauren, where I love Lauren, love her personality. She's a little more in tuned into things like on a ADHD, OCD, and I'm quirkiness, like our personality quirk. We all have them, right? I've learned in our balance, like in the balance of Keith and Lauren, to let things just kind of chill, and sometimes probably to a negative extent, not negative in a bad way, but negative to the point where it's not worth my energy because I've been around long enough to know that it's just not worth having the energy of putting anything into it. You know what I'm saying?
100%, brother. 100%, brother. 100%. Go a little further on that.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten so good at responding rather than reacting and letting shit roll off my back. But what I was doing, what I didn't recognize was I wasn't communicating in a way that was non-threatening to Terry.
Yes.
So in her mind, I'm not really having anything that she needs to be working on.
Oh yeah.
As to where she's keeping me informed, I'm not doing that to her. And it becomes very fucking lopsided in terms of, it's like if both partners are trying to be better for the next based upon, productive conversations and requests, it's real easy to, I can think all the time, she's doing X. Well, I'm fucking not going to throw a stone because Jesus Christ, look at all my exes, so to speak. But and I'm not saying ex-girlfriend. Look at all these problems that I have. She's got a problem that's frustrating me. I'm not throwing a stone at that because I've got all mine, Yes. Well, and it's, so I guess what I'm getting at is that.
Love that what you just said.
You have to, it's great to not bitch. It's great to not react, but you got to have a level of communication because that was something that Tara and I had, I don't remember when it was, probably 6 months ago. I said to her, I said, you're probably not aware of XYZ. And she's not really. It's because I hadn't been communicating.
Yeah.
So do the response, let shit roll off your back, but politely, productively keep them informed.
So guys, if any of this hits home, don't beat yourself up. Have a conversation with your partner. Have a conversation with yourself, right? You're not broken. You're not weak. Maybe you're just ready to be seen, but it all starts with awareness and a conversation. And I will invite you to join our conversation every single day here on the show, because we're creating conversations of awareness, sharing personal experiences, and then inviting our community to become a part of that. So guys, if you're feeling beat up, maybe your partner's feeling beat up as well. But again, it always starts with a conversation between the two of you. All right, Jimmy, let's go to our morning loop teaser here. I teased something at the beginning of the show. Let's drop that, and then we're gonna do that, Johnny. And then before we say goodbye, I learned something today. We're gonna try a new segment called "Today I Learned Something," and then we're gonna share that as well. So, Jimmy, let's do this. Let's do the morning loop tease, and then we'll come back to that one as well. Jim.
What if everything you've been told about transforming your health is completely backwards? What if the secret isn't in the dramatic overhauls, but in something so small you'd almost dismiss it? Every January, millions of us commit to massive health transformations, only to burn out. But breakthrough research is revealing that the most powerful health transformations don't come from going all in. Scientists are discovering that tiny, strategic changes can trigger cascading improvements throughout your entire system. The key is identifying which small changes create the biggest ripple effects. When you understand the leverage points in your health, you can achieve remarkable results without the overwhelm. Today, we're revealing the exact percentage that changes everything. Stay with us.
I'm always about putting facts on the table to help people move forward, and I think we kind of touched upon this a couple of weeks ago, but nearly 96 million American adults have pre-diabetes. True story, Johnny. Yeah. And that's a groundbreaking study found, and again, I'm always finding just interesting things to put on the table, that losing just 3.5% of body weight reduces the risk of developing type 2 diabetes by approximately 40%. Like, dude, it's making
and again, I think that I always make the it's not even a joke. It's the fucking truth. I position things as jokes so people will actually hear it.
Yes.
Right. It's like, God damn it. The numbers are just fucking people up. Right.
Yes.
Because people think, oh, well, I just starved myself for a few days, lose those 3.5 pounds. No, let's not look at the numbers. If that study said people that walk 15 minutes a day that's the message that people need to hear. It's the not moving. So I guess, yes, the outcome is 3.5, but it's not losing 3.5 by fucking starving yourself. It's losing 3.5 by a better lifestyle.
So fair. I would like to invite you to think about it a little differently. So I do agree with you. Sometimes numbers confuse everybody. As a matter of fact, today I went for my walk today before the show, and I put the treadmill up to 3%, and I was like, it's harder today. But I forgot that I had the treadmill up, because again, we just think with the numbers, right? But I'm sharing this with you because some folks, Johnny, are motivated by numbers. So hear me out with this. So what I'm saying is that somebody right now is thinking that, oh my God, I got to do all of this. And I'm saying, actually, no, just get up and get moving. Make some small incremental changes throughout your day, and adding some small, simple habits, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. And if you can, reduce some of that weight on your body, there's a good chance you're going to live longer and maybe not get diabetes. So yes, I hear you that not to get caught up on the numbers, but there's many folks that hear, oh, I got to get up and I got to train for an hour today. No, actually do it 5 minutes.
No, brother, 100%. We're saying the same thing. 100%.
Yes.
I think if that was positioned differently, people that choose to go for a few minute walk every day that lose 3.5 pounds.
Yes.
So the 3.5 pounds is the first thing. They don't hear anything after that.
Yes.
Well, fuck, their solution is I just won't eat for 2 days.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And you know what?
So it's confusing message to the people who don't think about this stuff from a health standpoint. They think of it from a number standpoint.
Yeah, that's fair. That's an absolutely fair comment. So I think if I can wrap this up, guys, if you're on a path of continued bad decisions, your doctor has said recently, if you don't stop making the decisions, you might have some type 2 diabetes coming into your purview of the front view mirror. You have a chance to make changes to your life right now. It's actually
and there's going just kind of dipping into a peptide thing with this. Right? There are peptides that are designed to help people with this stuff. And the thing that I don't like about the way that they're used by the medical field is they're given this medication and they're not given any sort of instruction on movement. They're saying, hey, this is going to make it easier for you to eat less.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. You know, so any tool can be used properly or improperly, right? And so that's one of the things that I tend to dislike when it comes to the idea of the number, because people are looking for buttons, people are looking for simple ways to reduce the number, but reducing the number the wrong way doesn't really solve the problem we're talking about.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. All right, guys, listen, we're wrapping up last few minutes with myself and John here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and John, and all of our friends getting after daily, 8:00 Eastern time. Hey, so I'm going to work on introducing a new segment to the show, some fun stuff, something I'm calling Today I Learned, and I'm finding ridiculous things. And I found one yesterday that I want to share with you today. So Jimmy, let's try this segment out. Today I learned that there was a boy trapped, Johnny, fully conscious in his own body for 12 years. 12 years.
Hold on. Say that again.
Yeah, exactly correct. A boy was trapped fully conscious in his own body for 12 years. Doctors thought he was vegetable, but he was kind of like in a coma, but he was actually, isn't that what a coma is? That's how I would define it. But get this. He later regained communication and he wrote a book about his experience. Yes. So you're paralyzed, you're voiceless, you're ignored.
Different level of consciousness.
Dude, it is. Jimmy, can we run this B-roll here, Jimmy? I think we got some B-roll run. So we're going to try this out here. So I'm going to run some B-roll while I'm talking about this. But so this is exactly what happened to Martin Pistorius, a real life story that redefines perseverance, hope, and the human spirit. He in 1988, Martin fell ill with what seemed like a flu, Johnny. Months later, he was mute, immobile, and declared brain dead. But he was fully conscious, just completely paralyzed. He lived what's known as called locked-in syndrome. It's incredible to me. So for over a decade, he endured neglect, abuse, and despair, unable to signal to anyone. This is what makes me sad, man, why I want to share this with you. Unable to signal to anyone that he was still in there. Dude. So Jimmy, there's a second B-roll clip. Around age 25, a care worker noticed a spark in his eyes. And testing revealed what no one had realized, that Martin was still alive inside Johnny. Incredible to me. Through augmentative communication technology, he learned to speak again, became a web developer, got married, had kids, and wrote a best-selling book called Ghost Boy.
Good for him, man.
And I got to tell you, man, I'm working hard to get him onto the show.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. You know, that whole idea, I've had like fear of something similar on a very short-term basis, right? Because I can't remember who it was. Somebody was telling me, so I've had a handful of surgeries where you get put to sleep, right?
Yes, it's scary.
And, I never even thought about something like this. And then somebody tells me, there's a syndrome where they put you to sleep and you're actually awake the whole time and you can see and feel what's going on. I'm like, fuck, I don't need that shit. What do you do? Get out of here with that stuff. What is wrong with you? And of course you can't keep that dumb shit out of your mind, So, I mean, I've got like when I'm laying there, they're getting ready to put me to sleep. I'm going to hit me with some Valium, hit me with something to chase these thoughts out of my, because I don't want to be thinking this stuff. And I think, check this out, dude. I think somehow on a very small level, it happened. Because this is trippy, dude. Well, dude, I'll have to have Tara on the show tell the story. But basically, I'm having a knee surgery, and the anesthesiologist is having a hell of a time because I'm metabolizing the drug so fast.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So I'm coming up, and they have to put me back down, and then I'm going too deep, and they're fucking stopping my breathing. So I'm doing this the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And the surgeon can't work on me until I'm stabilized. So this like 90-minute surgery took like fucking 5 hours, and Terry's in the waiting room just shitting her pants. And so they come out and they get her, and the lady coming out is a little alarmed, and she's just like, shit, like she's like, we need your help. we can't settle them down. Right. And so when they had me, I guess they had me tied in, but not my arms. So my arms were free. Right. And I am like, I don't even know it, but I am just, she walks in this room and they got 2 or 3 people like head down holding the fucking gurney. And I am just fucking thrashing, like pissed off thrashing. Right. And so Terry comes in and she kind of comes from behind and gets in my ear and says, "You're scaring people." That's what she said. And she said it was just like that. I stopped and I leaned over, like I heard that familiar voice, and it was over.
Yeah.
But I think somehow I knew that they were, I was probably fucking pissed what they were doing. I don't know. Isn't that weird shit though?
Yeah, that's really weird shit. You know what's weird shit? I'm going to share something with you before you rock and roll here. I read a tragic story over the weekend, Johnny. A man ends up in New York City with a big like weightlifting chain around his body. You know the chains that when you go to the gym and
yeah.
You know, right?
Yeah, put them on your neck when you're doing dips. Yeah,
it's gonna fucking freak you out, man. Ends up in the hospital going for an MRI. The MRI machine sucked him into the fucking machine and killed him.
Hold on. How does this have to do with the chain?
He had it on his neck. He walked into the MRI room. They had the MRI machine on, and the magnets are so powerful. These MRI machines have been known to fling wheelchairs across the room. It actually sucks.
What in the hell is he walking around with a chain like that around his neck for?
Well, there's some parts of the story that haven't
weirdo shit here,
But so he ends up from the gym. That's what I couldn't understand, why he was in the MRI. So it's like you walking in and saying, I'm here. But apparently he's in the fucking MRI room with this chain around his neck, around his body. He gets sucked into the MRI machine. His wife is with him. He goes limp. He dies. Like it's.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I'm so sorry it happened, but I still want to know why he fucking walking around with a big chain. Why
Well, believe me,
was he carrying a gallon of water too? Was he one of those dudes?
Well, why was the MRI machine on and all? Because there's a lot of unanswered questions. But I bring it up because we had some. This is tragic. I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm going to segue though. We had some fun with a similar conversation a number of months ago where the guy went in there and had something up his anus. Remember, he had something up his butt, and there was a butt plug, and I was like, why is that person in there? So when I saw this headline in New York, it happened in New York City. I was like, what the fuck? So A asked, well, why is the guy in the hospital with a chain around his neck? Why is he in the room with the MRI machine on? And what's he doing on the gurney with the chain on him? And how does it get like sucked in? Like the whole thing just freaks me out.
Yeah. How did somebody let that happen?
That's the other question, John Anderson.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, somebody should have said, put that metal in your car.
100%. Incredible.
Too many missing pieces of the equation for us to truly understand, but damn it. Yeah, that's
what sad. What a tragic story. All right. Hey, listen, guys, we're wrapping up with myself, John Anderson. I'm going to do the community corner, and we're going to keep the show rocking for the next 20 minutes or so with Keith and Johnny here. What a fun show today, man. We had, hey, Alex, I see your comments, man. Neuroscience for the win. The dude had a rocking beard, man. What a great energy, right? And I know like you've crossed paths with many cannabis dudes or women, and I gotta admit, man, there's a certain energy that I will say we bring to the table. It's calming, it's warming, it's welcoming. Nobody's aggressive and fighting, man. It's just cool human beings.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
What do you got going on today, pal? What's up? What's on your agenda today?
I got a fun day. Shit, I got some deep cheek work right now.
Yeah.
And then yesterday at dinner,
yes,
Terry said to me,
I'm
gonna go pick up your prescription.
Okay.
I only have one prescription.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's Viagra. That's Viagra, baby. She says, I'm going to go pick up your. So you know what that means.
Life expectancy work is on the agenda for the Andersons here later today, which is awesome.
And something usually when that happens, it tells me that we're going to be. We're not waiting until 5 o'clock. So I'm going to be tired between deep cheeking it and then that. Oh baby, I'm going to take a good nap.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I have to look at the calendar for the next few days of our month here. So before I get back to life expectancy work, because we know how Mother Nature works, John Anderson. So that's how that gets after it. So I got a fun day today too, working on some great stuff behind the scenes that we'll keep bringing to you guys on the show here. So a lot of fun.
Dude, we got to catch up, man. Jesus Christ, you know? Yeah. I mean, yesterday turned out to be as busy as the day before. So, and then today I can't say it's going to be busy, but in a different way. But we got to, dude, I'm not good with filling into cracks with a call. I'm good with let's fucking nail down a time.
I know you are, and I'm totally fine with that. I've been working on some fun things behind the scenes to share, so we'll get.
I want to hear them.
I know you do. And I'm making some great shit, and we're doing some cool stuff in an industry that's really rapidly changing. And I can say that we are right at the center of it and right at the forefront. And I'll say what's happened too, man. As we're in the second half of this year, people have clearly recognized that this is a thing. Like, this is not like a fly-by-night thing. It's like, holy fuck, that Keith and John are still doing this thing. Yeah, like they're actually.
Well, that's because most people they can't conceive doing something every day for any length of time.
Anderson, you get the last word on that one, brother.
That's it. All right, I gotta take a dump. So cut me out of here. Cut me loose.
Jimmy, we'll see you later, brother. Take care.
Have a great loop, my brother.
All right, my brother. Love you, man. Take care. Johnny's out of here. Johnny's out of here, guys, and I'm left. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. We get after it every single day. If you guys are listening closely, because I know you are, you can subtly hear the changes happening in front of your eyes. True story. Oh, yeah. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Yeah. Guys, what a fun show today. Wow, we had Rama Mayo kicked it off. No, backing it up. First of all, I would invite you guys, if you have not heard the opener, Uncle Keith belted out some tunes. Yeah, I did. I cold opened with some classic Black Sabbath. I invite you guys to go check that out. Lot of fun. And then we had Rama Mayo joining us, the cannabis guy. What an incredible dude, man. I would invite you guys to go back to that. We brought Rama in at around 8:17 Eastern time. Had a great 30-minute conversation. What's up, Dusty? Good to see you there. What's going on, Bernard? And yeah, kindness rising. Super strong magnet, deadly. That's a major problem for the hospital. No metal near the MRI. Yeah, Maddie, you come from the hospital industry, man. There's so many unanswered questions for me on this one. Like, maybe you and I can chat off the show on this one, but because so many questions, it's so bizarre to me. It's so tragic. Like, fuck, man. How do you get sucked into an MRI machine? Guys, we're going to continue tweaking the show for you guys. Some of the plans here coming forward is we're going to work on extending the morning loop to 30 minutes of unpredictable conversation. And my ambition is to keep leaning into current events and topics that we can have conversation around and about. It's clear to me that last week when the Coldplay situation happened, y'all want to talk about it. Today, with Ozzy passing yesterday, we all want to talk about it. So I'm priding myself, along with Johnny, of creating a morning water cooler of sorts. I don't know if I like that word, Matty Roof, water cooler. It's like a fucking old word, but hey, I guess we're creating creating a show rooted in vintage 90s. But yeah, so my goal here is, and Holroyd and Bernard and Dusty and Lady Jew and all of you guys, I hope you guys can find time in your mornings to continue, and we're going to start dropping some news onto the table. And we're not talking about news like, crazy hardcore political news, but maybe just information and knowledge and news for you guys to have to get you through your day, right? So, a space to start our day, have some conversation, and keep going. So my goal, the plan is the first 30 of the show, we're going to talk just like we've been talking today, is unpredictable conversation, fun topics, look to you guys at the community. So guess what I'm saying, Mornings in a Live community? I'm going to be expecting more to you guys. Yeah, you guys are contributing a great deal, and I want to have more from you guys as part of our first 30. So how I'm envisioning it happening is first 30 is the morning loop. It's going to be entertaining conversation, unpredictable conversation, newsworthy conversation, give you guys things, go, okay, I heard that on the show this morning, and trustworthy conversation, right? In a world of, listen, I got some incorrect facts on Rama this morning I was somewhat a little bit embarrassed about. So, I'm priding myself on making sure that we give you guys factual content, reputable content, and we are powered by Perplexity. I want to throw that out there as well. We're really leaning into the Perplexity platform and getting our knowledge from Perplexity to create this great content for you guys. So first 30, the goal here is to newsworthy conversational content, community content. Second 30 on the show will be about guests. We're going to move center stage to 8:30 Eastern time. And then we'll have the big deep dive around the 9 o'clock hour Eastern time. We'll get into a couple of topics to take it to the bottom of the hour. Johnny Lee's around 9:30 Eastern time. And then we'll do the community corner for the last 30. So that is how we're going to work towards continuing to rejig and rework the show. And then, of course, we got a third hour coming up here in August with Jonathan Bannister. We are going to move the third hour to more of the business side of things, the AI side of things, the digital marketing side of things, teaching. That's my goal. My goal is to spend a lot of time with John Bannister and myself teaching you guys the things that I'm doing daily, the tools that I'm using daily, what we're using to build the business, what's happening in the industry, because man, is it changing fast. Read a stat today, man. Google search and traffic to websites. These people are not going to websites, man. People are just not. Let me rephrase it. People are not clicking through. Is it 53, 56% in the last month are just getting their data from the Google AI summary? So the industry is changing super fast. And my ambition here is to be on the cutting edge of that information for you guys. Okay. Just moving myself around here because we're gonna do this. We're gonna go to the community corner. We're gonna go to the community corner. What do dirty talk, nervous breakdowns, and outsmarting millionaire biohackers have in common? Well, it's time for the community corner, where we connect LinkedIn and Substack on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. And today we're going to talk about turning up the heat in your relationship, why your stress habits might be running your life, and how a single mom is winning the longevity game. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. All right, number one, Sarah Ward, a certified sexologist, says most people overthink or avoid talking dirty because they worry it's awkward or forced. But hey, her guide isn't about shock value. It's about using sensory descriptive language, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic to create trust, connection, and intimacy with your partner. She shares how simple, specific words can spark more excitement, confidence, and even a better relationship. But here's the thing. Here's the real question. Are you playing it safe with your words, or are you willing to just step up and say exactly what you want? Tell me, fellas, do you talk dirty with your partner, or do you never go there? Because there's a way about it. And I'm telling you, if you want to unlock some life expectancy work, perhaps it could all start with a text. Yeah, perhaps it could. All right, let's keep it rolling. On to the next one here. Casper Chadaden says, why do some days feel easy while others are a grind? You guys know how it is. It's just not your mindset, it's your nervous system calling the shots. He breaks it down, how stress, urgency, and brain fog aren't always a sign that you need more discipline. No, sometimes your system just needs a reset. Casper shares a practical way to regulate. Get outside, breathe, unplug from tech. The big idea is this. If you want clarity, stop by working with your body. Yeah, not against it. So, are you really stuck, or are you just running on empty? I'm going to invite you guys to check in with yourself, nation, daily. Do it. Do it. All right, on the next one, moving on. Derek Barkley over on LinkedIn spotlights Julie Clark, 56-year-old single mom who managed to reverse her biological age, not with fancy tech, but with the basics. But because this will be boring, you guys might not want to tune in because everybody wants a hack. But Julie kept things simple. Daily greens, regular walks, sleep, and strength training. The result? she landed second place in the Rejuvenation Olympics, beating out big-name biohackers like Brian Johnson. What were Derek's goals? Well, the biggest returns come from the smallest, most consistent habits. So are you still waiting for that magic solution, the magic bullet? Or are you ready to trust the basics? I invite you to go check out Derek Berkeley, who spotlighted Julie Clark, that 56-year-old single mom, over on LinkedIn. Great story. All right. Theodore Basil draws a sharp line that you wouldn't walk around on a broken leg. So why ignore your mental stress? Why do we do it? For CEOs, execs, and business owners, the pressure is non-stop. And pushing through without acknowledging the load just sets you up for a crash. He reminds us that mental health needs the same attention as physical health. What's the takeaway? If you're willing to fix a physical injury, it's time to start taking your stress just as seriously. If you don't, it's going to beat you up, blow you up, and who the hell knows what's going to happen to you after that. So guys, tackle that stress. All right. So, what's really driving your day today, guys? Your words, your habits, or what you refuse to address? Because the real wins, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to come from showing up honest, consistent, and willing to get uncomfortable, even when it comes to how you communicate intimacy with your partner. If you want your story, if you want your story featured on the next Mornings in the Lab Community Corner, I'm going to invite you to do this. Follow us on Substack, InsideBapple.ai, or come and connect with us on LinkedIn. Yeah, true story. Come find myself, or come find Johnny, or come follow the Mornings in the Lab page. Yeah, exactly it. You'll find us every single day here at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. All right, we're in the Community Corner. Hey, Jimmy, you want to run that little commercial I made before we do the Creator Spotlights? If you have it ready, we can do it. Have some fun with it. Make it fun.
Oh, this is awesome.
Most marketers are playing it safe with boring blog posts and genetic LinkedIn content. We got somebody coming up in the Creator Spotlight. Jimmy, let's run the LinkedIn Creator Spotlight right now on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends.
What if I told you that the secret to scaling a company from 0 to 7 figures in less than a year wasn't about having the perfect product or the biggest marketing budget? A young marketer took a different approach. He built a Netflix-style streaming platform for B2B content, created a podcast that became one of the top 20% most shared globally, and developed a framework that's now being used by companies like Meta and Intercom. His LinkedIn strategy alone drove $274K in new revenue in just 4 months. Mornings in the Lab is excited to celebrate Obaid Durrani, the creative force behind some of the most innovative B2B content strategies in the industry. Follow Obaid's journey and discover how he's helping companies turn their marketing teams into creators and build media empires that actually drive results.
Yes, Obed. While most marketers are playing it safe with boring blog posts and generic LinkedIn content, Obed is over here building streaming platforms and talking marketing strategy while playing video games. He's a lifelong fan of anime music and the Philadelphia Eagles, but more importantly, he's a devoted husband and father who moved his family to Colorado to build the life he wants. No, he wanted to go to a legal cannabis market. Just like Rama Mayo. Joking. He's the kind of person who sees the world differently, and he isn't afraid to experiment. Whether he's talking about space, video games, or revolutionary marketing frameworks, Obaid shows us that authenticity and creativity aren't just nice to haves, they're competitive advantages. So, Obed, here's how it works. Love to have you on the show. Yeah, true story. Just typing Jimmy a message. So, Obed, love to have you on the show. Would love to have you on here so I can hand you the creator spotlight. This is big light so that you can take it and shine it on somebody in your community in the next community corner, creator spotlight, and pay this whole thing forward. Shining lights on wonderful humans doing great things. That's how we do it right here on the Mornings in the Lab creator spotlight. So Obed and everybody, I invite you to go find him on LinkedIn and connect with him. Obed, the creator spotlight, the influencing marketing guy at Clay. Oh, hey, I like Clay. I'm a big fan of Clay. I use your app. True story. All right, Jimmy, let's go to the next one.
Picture this, a newsletter about vintage furniture that reads like a treasure map. Another about health that challenges everything your doctor told you. Both written by the same obsessive mind who turns niche interests into must-read content. Sammy Rice transforms the mundane into the essential. 8 years ago, he was told he had a 50-50 chance of never walking again after a spinal injury. But today, he's not only walking, he's stronger than ever. Sammy proves that the best stories live in the margins. 2 thriving newsletters, thousands of readers changing how they buy, eat, and live. This is what happens when someone decides the mainstream got it wrong and does the research to prove it.
Follow trends. Sammy Reese has been quietly creating them since 2014. One obsessive deep dive at a time. This dude stays up until 1 a.m. filling notebooks about obscure furniture designers most people have never heard of. He went vegan because his favorite hardcore bands did. He ate so much soy protein it made him anemic, and he was told that he had slim chances of ever walking again after a spinal injury, but he said, fuck it. And he came back stronger than before. From Ottawa Nights into Brooklyn Obsessive, he found his people among vintage dealers and underground farmers who care about things nobody else notices. And my favorite part, Sammy drives a 20-year-old Jeep with 270,000 kilometers, not but because he has to, because it makes him happy. And hey, Sammy, I got a 2008 Jeep, 275,000 kilometers on it too, brother. You know why I drive it? Because it makes me happy. And hey, my brother, we'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to have you here to celebrate you and celebrate somebody in your orbit for the next community corner, for the next creator spotlight, right here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right. Hey, Jimmy, do you have that commercial handy one more time so I can step out for a pee? True story. If you do, we should run it for me. It's we're getting after here every single day here. What a fun show here. I'm doing the bladder.
Whoa, this is awesome.
No, I've been giving producer Jimmy the razz over the last couple of weeks. But dude, the guy's fucking on the ball today. Let me all tell you just what happened. So I know I had to close the show. But my bladder was telling me that Keith closed the show right now. I was like, no, but I think I need about 2 minutes to close the show, Mr. Bladder. The bladder's like, well, you're either going to pinch it or you're going to make a mess at your feet. So I'm like, I need to do something right now. So like, Jimmy. What's the dude? He's fucking ready to go. Like Roofy, the guy was ready to go. Boom, boom. Commercial runs. A 46-second commercial. Emptied the bladder. Come back to hang out with you guys. And come back to close the show. Yes. What a lot of fun. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you, Jimmy. Guys, we're going to wrap it up today. What a fun show, man. Oh, my God, what a fun show. I just want to throw some love back to the community here. Again, I say it all the time and I say it daily, but we're nothing without you guys in the community. So Bernard, I appreciate you, man. Dusty Struggles, I appreciate you. Adam Holroyd, Lady Drew. Angela Lee, if you're still there, I appreciate you. Why don't you come back and join us a little more often, Ange? And Ange, I would love to have you over on the vertical side too, man. Keep those comments coming. Alex Beeching joined us on the show here today. What else we got here? Got a bunch of stuff coming up on the lab here. Let's see here. Jimmy, what do we got going on tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday in the lab, and hey, Friday, Free For All Friday. If you guys got something you want to talk about, please send it my way. Send me a text, 431-300-3005, just like Bernard did. Bernard's like, hey, I think we should talk about this. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we're going to talk about it on Friday. So if you guys got something you want to talk about, send it my way. Please send me a text, 431-300-3005, 431-300-3005. That way we can talk about whatever you guys want to have. We're going to talk this Friday, Free For All Friday. And we'll probably talk more Ozzy, rest in peace, the Prince of Darkness. We know we lost him yesterday. And tomorrow we got John Petroselli joining us for a big conversation on the center stage. So that'll be in tomorrow's show as well. And then Friday, my goal is to talk culture on Friday. Hoping to line some guests up to talk culture, talk music, and so forth. But hey, on behalf of Johnny, on behalf of the entire, behalf of Melissa, on behalf of Carter, on behalf of producer Jimmy, I'm your favorite host to kick off your morning, Keith Billis. This is Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. We get after it every single day right here. I invite you guys to subscribe to our channel, like it, tell your friends all about it. Go check out the morning.store for some content. And I invite you guys to tune in to the show tomorrow morning. First thing, we're doing some fun things to start the show off. So I invite you guys to tune right from the beginning. And if you missed it, Uncle Keith belted out a cold open with some Ozzy to kick off the show today. All right, Jimmy, I'm going to get out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, right here. Have a good one, guys. Ciao.